Hello, one and all, and welcome to another edition of AIMBOT. Am I morally bankrupt or them? This is a show about secular humanism. Well, it's about my secular humanism. You may have your own moral system. I don't hold it against you. What we're looking for is moral compatibility in what we find to be moral and immoral. So what we're basically doing is, if you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome. We're basically going on to Reddit, Am I the A-hole, and basically trying to make a moral designation about who's in the right, who's in the wrong, who's being moral, who's being immoral, basically what we think of the whole situation. But what's not important is what we think is right and wrong. The important is, how do we get to that conclusion? So really we're talking about ethics or meta-ethics, perhaps. We're talking about why did you come to the decision you have come that something is right and something is wrong? Now, I think personally that sort of just saying, well, God makes it so is really bad. Really bad. It's probably the worst moral system I could think of. And I want to talk a little before we start. And I did warn the chat, so this was fairly warned that I would be talking a little bit about my most recent debate and sort of what sort of happened and how I feel about it, because I've got to get it off my chest. And this is one of the few times I do so. A lot of you might be wondering about why I took a debate with a guy called Jim Bob, because he is a moral monster. He's a bully, and he basically tries to belittle people, insult them. He isn't a good faith interlocutor. And I was thinking about this last night. A very good friend of mine, Titan, sort of said, why'd you even bother? It's a good question. Why did I even bother? I think it's because I see him come in, he bullies people in chat, he bullies people everywhere, and I don't like bullies. But it was I think when I thought about it, I thought I want to know that I can stand up to people like this, that I can actually go into a debate with people like this and hold my own, which I absolutely did. I think I got him absolutely cooked on one or two things and showed that this man doesn't even understand what basic logic is. For instance, I gave him the option, is God an agent or not an agent? Now, if you're unaware, that's a true dichotomy. What's a dichotomy, right? A dichotomy simply means a choice between two things. That's all it means. So if I give you a dichotomy, I would say, do you want to buy a cat or a dog, right? And that's a dichotomy. Now, it's not a true dichotomy. So what makes it a true dichotomy? It's a true dichotomy when there's no other options available. Okay, so when there's no other options available to you, that is a true dichotomy. So if I say, would you like to buy a dog or something else? Okay, that's still not a true dichotomy because you could get nothing. Or, maybe if I said, do you want to buy a dog or not? Right? So there's only one of two choices there. You either buy a dog or you don't buy a dog. If you buy something else, then you don't buy a dog, right? So there's only two choices there. There's no other choice. So this is what we're talking about. So if I say that is either a dog or not a dog, both of those things can't be true, right? It can't be a dog and not a dog at the same time. This is one of the fundamental laws of logic, and that's called the law of excluded middle, right? Excluded middle. So it can't be both things at one time and sort of meet that thing. I had a really good picture that I got quickly. I sort of searched around and just tried to find a really good picture for this, and I'll show it here. So this is basically it. The law of that's non-contradiction, not excluded middle. Yeah. But excluded, okay, that's a picture of non-contradiction. Okay, so I messed up. So that's non-contradiction. Hang on a sec. Let me try to find excluded middle. Excluded middle. So the difference between excluded middle and non-contradiction is that basically non-contradiction means it can't be in both at the same time, right? And excluded middle means it can't be a third category. It can't be another category aside from that one. So basically it means there is no that's a good one. That's good. Open image. Yeah, all right, there we go. Right. Sorry. Right one now. So this is basically the excluded middle. So for instance, you would have sort of buy a dog in true and not buy it. So buy a dog in true, not buy a dog in false. But there's no third category. There's no sort of category that says it's neither buying a dog or not buying a dog. There's no way you can either do that. So when you give a true dichotomy, like for instance, if I say, and the one in the debate, I'll go to the one in the debate. It's basically I said to him, is God an agent or not an agent, right? So that is a true dichotomy. God is either an agent or not an agent. His response was a special kind of agent, and that isn't something that is a thing, right? Even if it is as he said, a different category of agent, right? It's still an agent. It still falls in that set theory of being an agent. Okay, so it can't be a agent that's not an agent. It's not possible. It's illogical. So his definition of a god being an agent, neither an agent and not an agent, is not logically possible. It can't exist. It cannot, because it is either an agent or not an agent. So an agent in philosophy is simply a being that thinks, that's capable of making some sort of decisions or some kind of thought, something with a mind, essentially, something capable of thinking. So that's basically a decision making. That's basically what an agent is. So the whole idea that it's an agent, but it's a special type of agent that's not the same as a human agent, it doesn't matter. It's either an agent or not. It does not matter. So really, I tripped him up on the idea that God isn't an agent. If God isn't an agent, then he doesn't have a mind, because, only things with minds can make decisions. So if he has no agency, he's like a computer. He has no mind whatsoever. So that was really interesting that Jim Bob doesn't know the first thing about the laws of logic. Like, he doesn't understand them. Correct, Jay. And hello, Jay. Would you agree with me if I say, is he an agent or not an agent? Would you agree that's a true dichotomy, Jay? I would really like your feedback, because I know Jay is amazing. And I listen to Jay a lot, actually. Actually, I'm gonna suggest Jay's channel. Does a lot of stuff on philosophy if you're interested. Look, I want to say this. People like Jim Bob give philosophy a bad name. They essentially use it to bully people. Essentially, they think that it's like people who use pseudoscience. I think that maybe applying the title of pseudo philosopher or pseudo philosophy might be a good thing. People that sort of try to use philosophy, but really all they're doing is using it to make people upset and confused. And so I totally understand why people have a big problem with philosophy, because they do, and rightfully so, because of the way these people use it. Where is your channel, Jay? Where have I not gone to your channel for ages? What the? I'm confused. Hang on a second. Wow, it's in my search history. Yeah, there we go. I am subscribed. Okay, Jay, the system's hiding your channel from me. I hate to break it to you, mate, but the my YouTube's has something against you. Check out Jay, awesome guy. And yeah, just back me up here. You don't have to. I'm wrong, but yeah, no, totally. Now, so really, what I wanted to talk about with this is some of the problems that I see with the way that Jim Bob is behaving, and that's basically, it's people they don't want a debate. They don't want a honest debate. What they want to do is sort of shout you down with insults and things like that. I think it's kind of interesting the way that sort of these sort of really right-wing fundamentalist Christians are using philosophy in the same way that flat earthers are using science. They're misrepresenting it, and really sort of they're really using it in the wrong way to try and it's almost like they want to use the thing that is currently kicking their ass to sort of, you know, get under their skin, get under the person's skin. And, you know, thank you, Grayson. You know what? He was not happy. I will tell you that right now. He was not happy. What is wild to me is that he was basically angry because I wouldn't let him interrupt me. You know, I was talking and I would let him go on and on and on, and that's fine. I've got no problem with that. If you have a thought and that needs a few sentences, I'm fine with allowing it. You know, I'm really really fine with allowing it. But he wasn't allowing it from me. But so how you deal with this in debate, how you deal with these people, Jim Bob will interrupt halfway through. And it's a concerted effort to try and make you lose your thread, right? It's very hard to put together thoughts. And I made a ton of mistakes. I absolutely did, right? I think that there were mistakes that I made. I did lose my train of thought a couple of times. I cannot understate how difficult it is to keep your train of thought together while under that kind of, you know, berating and this kind of interruptions. But there's nothing to say if you know that someone's interrupting in bad faith. There's no reason why you have to stop talking because they do. Okay, just be aware of that. A lot of people, we're conditioned to, when somebody talks, we give them an opportunity to talk. But he's relying on that sense of social sort of, when you start talking, I'll allow you to talk. He's relying on that to interrupt you, disrupt your train of thought, not let you get sentences out. He's weaponizing a social norm in order to stop you from talking. But there's no reason why you have to. If someone's being bad faith, you don't have to stop talking. But be aware that it's very difficult to keep your train of thought. So intensity of thought on what you're doing is definitely something you've got to have. And that requires a lot of practice, a lot of training. It's something that I have had to do while someone's screaming at me, try to do my job kind of thing. It's a thing. It's a thing that you learn. And these sort of social cues, you learn them. And people like Jim Bob, nothing makes them mad as somebody laughing at them. And people said, oh, you're fake laughing. No, I honestly found it funny. I really did. It was hilarious how mad he was getting because I would not let him interrupt me in the middle of my first sentence. You know, it's absolutely crazy. So I don't know why his oh yeah, Grayson, absolutely. 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 I completely agree. And yeah, he did. And Deviant, I saw you out there. I saw you out there. I absolutely saw you out there. You know, and by the time that you're poking fun at somebody's accent, he's hassling the way I say "nah," like "nah, mate, nah." I mean, seriously, I don't know, but the moderation was almost non-existent. In fairness, I was warned that it's all hands off, but, you know, this is why he wanted to debate on that channel, because on Modern Day Debate or, you know, Skeptic Spin or any of these other debate channels, they would not allow him to do that. Like, that is just nonsense. No, yeah, no, mate. Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, it's this whole thing. And then they hide behind insults aren't ad hominems. And it's like, not necessarily, right? During a debate, if you're insulting someone, it is an ad hominem because you're essentially trying to, it's kind of ad hominem / sort of poisoning the well. You're trying to discredit them by insulting them. Like, that's obvious. In an ordinary conversation, maybe not, but yeah, no, it was on Raging Tomato. I'd never heard of it before. Actually, someone had mentioned it maybe once, but I didn't pay it a lot of attention because it's just completely hands off. Like, you know, they just don't moderate at all. And, that's the way they run it. I was warned by the moderator that it is hands off. I accepted it. So, I've got no one but myself to blame, basically. But if you are wondering why I did it, it was because I wanted to prove I could step into the ring with someone like Jim Bob and hold my own, which I'm happy to say I did. When you have like 12 of his rabid fundamentalist fans coming into your comments going, "Hey, Jim Bob, win, you lose," it's just like, yeah, something triggered a nerve. It's weird. The dog is not on my chair. Well, the dog is not on my chair. You ever think about that? And Deviant, I did see you in there, and that's something I do want to do. But I don't want this to be all about Jim Bob, because he dominates the whole time. I just maybe I should do videos about how to deal with these things, because that is one thing that you can get around people like this. You can absolutely wreck them if you do know what they're doing. But one thing I didn't see, and I'm sorry about this, I didn't see all of the super chats and I didn't read them out. So I'm just going to quickly go through them. It won't take long. I'll quickly go through them and just go over them. So first off was Left-Handed Jedi for $5 US. If an event wiped out society, science would be rediscovered. I think that one was read. I'm not sure what was read and what wasn't. So I want to go through them. Yes, and I think I answered that. Yeah. It would be a different religion if religion was restored. It would be completely different, but science would not be. Mark's belief cannot justify your God belief. Yes, correct, Robin. Thank you so much for $2 US, $5 US. Left-Handed Jedi. The existence of a concept doesn't make them rational. Okay, so it's not the concept itself that's rational. It's sort of, or it can be. So rationality has a few different meanings, like is something rationally moral kind of thing, or i.e. does it get you towards what you're trying to do, or what the goal, whether that's the glory of God or the wellness of human beings, does it get you to that or not? Something rational, you could say, hey, there is evidence that is the case. I get what you're saying, though. With beliefs, like a belief in a God, concepts are just concepts. Like when you say it's rational to believe that any concept can exist, so it's not really whether it's rational to believe or the concept is rational. I guess if the concept is accurate or not accurate to reality, that's what you're talking about. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, the existence of having a concept, yeah, I can have a concept of Donkey Kong. It doesn't make it a rational concept. Rational to think it's out there in the world. And this is the conflation that was being made. You missed a post from before. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. One sec. I'll try and find it. Did it skip it? A is the law of identity. A can't be A and not A at the same time. Well, A is the law of identity. A can't be A and not A at the same time. That is the law of non-contradiction. Okay, so A not being A and not A at the same time is the law of non-contradiction. So it can't be in two contradictory categories, like A and not A at the same time. The law of excluded middle says that for any exclusive set of a proposition and its negation, like A and not A, there can't be a third option. There can't be, in A and not A, there can't be, something is sort of B kind of thing. Well, that falls into the not A, right? But it can't be B, which is not in either category. It has to be one of those two. That's basically the three laws that everything in logic is built on. I would love to see the axioms of quantum logic, to be honest with you. I ran across this really interesting thing. I tried to talk about it in the debate of quantum monism. Not that one. God is X. Oh, is it before or after that? I'm so sorry. You're killing me, Jay. You're killing me. Aha. So the phrasing God is X, this implies a proposition. Yes. So God is an agent. Yes. like God is not an agent falls under the law of non-contradiction. Yeah, but what he wasn't saying is, yeah, so it's either non-contradiction, God can't be an agent and not an agent, and the whole idea of excluded middle means that God can't be another category aside from agent and not an agent, because those are exclusive. They cover everything. That is an exclusive set, basically. I that's okay. That's all right. Yeah. I get you. No, I think you're sort of saying, hey, it's violating non-contradiction, but that is saying it's in both categories of an agent and not an agent. He was saying there was a third one, kind of thing. Anyway, I'll keep on going. Oh, yeah, no, that's the law of non-contradiction. No, that is the law of non-contradiction. Excluded middle is saying that there's a middle category and it belongs to neither of them. That's the excluded middle. Okay. The God of the Bible isn't moral. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can blow this up. Give me a sec. Hey. The God of a concept doesn't make them rational. The existence of a concept, yeah. The God of the Bible isn't moral. Well, it depends. Like, because I'm a moral anti-realist, I think that morals are systems of thought that sort of have been designed by humans. So if your morality is what God does, then you think it's moral, and I don't. I really don't. Jim Bob was afraid to debate Mark with a real mod. No, I don't think he was afraid. I think he just wanted to insult me without anybody stopping him, you hooligan. I think he wanted to insult and belittle and, do his little tricks and stuff without anybody stepping in. So I think that's why he chose it. $2 Canadian. Awesome. Rude mud crab. That mud crab is very rude. 5 Australian. If the belief is rational, why was I unable to rationalize it? Yep, pretty much. Because completely unable to. He had to sort of say, hey, you've got an irrational view. No. Yeah, probably, Jay. Probably. Probably, Jay. Probably. Luke for $5 says Jim Bob is like a Temu version of Jordan Peterson. He has the talent but needs to work on his word salad more. Yeah, I don't know. I think to somebody that hasn't got a grasp on philosophy, I think it would be pretty unintelligible. It would be very, very hard to understand. And I was trying to make it as sort of as comprehensible as humanly possible, because I know that people don't like these very, very specialized philosophical terms. Everybody understands it when you explain it, but he wasn't explaining anything. He was just using the terms. A Swedish hundred from Mark to endure the indignity of debatoism, the phenomenon of subjecting oneself to the likes of a man-child like Jim Bob to satiate the harrowing need for a thorough argy-bargy. No, I don't think I need to have argy-bargies. It's not like I enjoy them more than a reasonable debate. I definitely enjoy reasonable, intellectual debate more. I don't like this mudslinging, dumpster fire. But I will do it if you want to try me on. I will do it. But I prefer. It's not like I don't hate them. It's just I prefer to have a reasonable discussion. But the man-child, yeah, I think that I've never seen a person so much in arrested development like that man, like somebody that simply has not grown up, has not turned into an adult. Like he's still shoving pizza in his face on camera and, trying to say, oh, your accent, like, grow up, dude. Seriously. Arrested development is that stage where you literally get man children. You get men with the cognitive process of teenagers or children. They still are trapped in that sort of, childlike temper tantrums and things like that. Absolutely. But those are the super chats. I'll just get organized for the same thing. No, the law of contradiction is it can't be true and false at the same time. The law of excluded middle means there can't be another category aside from true and false. That's basically what it is. And it is a bit counterintuitive. It really is. It makes sense when you sort of see it represented in pictures and things. It really does make sense, but it is counterintuitive that all of our logic is made up by this. Yeah, I'd love to say it. I will definitely look it up. I will definitely look up quantum. So what I was going to get into was that I came across this idea of quantum monism. And monism in philosophy, and I know this is philosophy, I know people hate it, but bear with me. It basically says that the entire universe, everything in reality is really one thing. And it's usually in a spiritual context, right? It's usually that, the Buddhists say we're all one with the universe kind of thing. Okay, well, quantum physics posited, and this is not something scientific, it's just something that is posited, that by quantum entanglement, everything could be connected, and therefore the way we look at things, like the law of identity, that is you and I am me, that kind of thing. I am me and you are you, and we don't, we're totally sort of split between one another. We're different people. That might not actually be true. It may be that the fundamental unit of the universe is the universe, and that everything is just sort of meshed together with sort of quantum entanglement. But I don't know a lot about it. It's just been posited, basically. It's just been said, hey, if this is true, then everything is one. So the fundamental unit of the universe may be the universe. And it would also kind of explain why we can't seem to find a smallest part of the universe. It's fascinating, though. As far as philosophies go, there's no reason why it cannot be true. That's the thing. Like, why can't it be true? So when you hear those things of, oh, well, if there is one fundamental thing of, in the thing, what is the fundamental thing? If they're doing a deductive argument, it has to be a God because nothing else can be fundamental. Well, technically, the universe can be fundamental if that is true. And what you've got to remember is that if somebody makes a deductive argument, if someone says, hey, the only option left is X, or the only option for a fundamental unit of the universe is God, then you just bringing up a possible alternative breaks their deduction. Because in order to do a deductive argument, you've got to eliminate everything else, which is a problem for them. But, theists just sort of, or this type of theist, I should be very clear, not all Christians are as bad as Jim Bob. Not all theists are as bad as Jim Bob. It's just this crazy right-wing pre-sup nonsense that we're hearing from nowadays. The whole point is that if you make it, they think that if something is possible, if the God is possible, then it exists. And that doesn't follow. That does not follow. Yeah, unicorns are logically possible. Sasquatches are logically possible. A flat earth is logically possible. There's a lot of things that are logically possible. They don't exist, right? Like the lowness of the bar it's getting to for these people is insane. If it's possible, then it exists, is basically the arguments that we're getting from these kind of presuppositionalists. It's wild. It's wild. Woo, okay. But let's start aimbotting, because I've spent half an hour ranting about it. Oh, look, I don't know if I'd debate Jim Bob again. I think maybe on the right subject. Like, I've seen his debates on evolution. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. Like, the weird thing is he was wearing a Hubble hugger hat, which is a flat earth merchandise, but he claims he's not a flat earther. So I don't know whether he's lying or he believes in a banana earth. I've got no idea. So it's very, very strange. Everything's a bit strange with that man. He's a very, very strange and weird person. Very, very weird. Okay, first one up. So what are we doing here? Just for people that are new, have not seen this before, we're basically going through and applying some kind of morality to am I the a-hole on Reddit? So I use secular humanism, which basically says I'm interested in human well-being, both of human society and individual humans. We can establish what is a bar or a metric for well-being by using medicine, psychology, psychiatry, basically mental and physical health, and societal health by using sociology. So there's got to be a balance between the two, of course. We don't want to take away people's fundamental sort of rights that will cause them to be unwell or, not well. But, we've got to basically balance that with society's needs. So it's very sort of utilitarian. And by that, it's consequentialist. It basically says, what are the consequences? Now, it's not simple consequentialism. I say, what is the reasonable expectation for any action to lead to well-being or away from well-being? And that's basically what it is. And so I think that what I'm interested in is and people have different moral systems. There can be Christians that I agree with them on 99.9% of things. Like, we don't have to have an identical moral system. What we're looking for is moral compatibility. Like, can we discuss this in terms of, does this hurt people or help them? And I think that's perfectly reasonable. And most Christians are reasonable, or at least the ones I've met. Just in the US, it doesn't look that way at the moment because of people taking the center stage. But I'm not, it's not like I'm not interested in what your moral designation is, but I'm interested in how you reached it and whether it differs from mine and whether we can agree on it, even for different reasons. I always find it interesting when people come to the same conclusion, but for different reasons. Oh, Pinworm. Sorry, Pinworm, for $2. Lovely, Mark. Oh, much love back at you, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Much love back at you. Because seriously, but yeah, that was a rough ride. I needed a hug afterwards. I won't lie. That amount of toxic behavior is pretty overwhelming. And I certainly did lose my temper at the end, mostly because I was hungry. I get hangry. I don't know if anyone else out there has that. Like, they don't eat for a while and they just get hangry. I think I suffer from hangriness. I think I'm getting old, peeps. I think I'm getting old. Anyway, this is from John4844. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend if she can take a shower? A little bit, yeah. It depends, I guess. It depends on A, how bad it is. B, how you asked. Like, I totally get it. I totally get it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ember. So good to see you, my friend. And somebody that comforted me after that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Like, really, I am so thrilled that I do not have a toxic space where people are being mean to one another. I mean, what a world to live in, where you're just hassling anybody for being different. What kind of a world will that be? I want to celebrate difference, not hassle people for it. Come on now. Okay. My girlfriend really only showers once a week, twice if I'm lucky. Yeah, that's a bit bad. I don't know. Twice a week. I shower once a day. Is that bad? Is he asking to take a shower to get? Look, it saves water. It's environmentally friendly. It saves water. What can I say? I've done that before. I'm sure you've done that before, perhaps. Maybe not with a girlfriend, maybe the boyfriend. You've done it. It's fine. I totally, I'm on board. Typically we go to the gym together, and I've often asked her why she doesn't shower. Look, to be honest with you, when I go to the gym, I've got to shower. Like, I shower beforehand because I am a sweater. I sweat a lot. Like, I don't know, I think it's just something to do with genetics. I will have sweat pouring off me for some reason. I'm not sure why. I just do. So I absolutely make sure that I'm okay. And she always comes with things like, oh, women don't really sweat much, and I sweat very little even for women's standards. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And I don't buy it because I can smell. Yep. I used to just suck it up because I know she's extremely sensitive. Well, yeah, but I kind of not safe for work here, but this even affected our sex life. I used to love going down on her, but after not showering after workouts and long weekdays, I've lost interest. Ouch. Yeah, it's getting not safe to work. Look, if you've got small children, take them out of the room now, where we're talking about some cunning linguists. Yeah, so I love that, but yeah, I think if you weren't showering and you smelled, I don't know how I'd feel about that. Fast forward a bit. She now starts using the sauna at gym, maybe on average 2 times a week. Gym saunas, I mean, they're basically a petri dish. I don't know how I feel about that. She still refuses to shower. Well, I mean, if she does a sauna and like scrubs herself off, you know, I don't see a problem with the sauna, but I've presumed, hang on, a sauna, that's not a spa, that's a sauna. Okay, no, the sauna is not going to cut it, I'm afraid. And plus, you sweat more, don't you? Because it's just steam and stuff. You're incredibly hot. Isn't that the point of having a schwitz? You sweat more. I don't know. There's no way you just didn't sweat in the sauna. Just me sitting 5 minutes in there gets me soaked. She says she doesn't sweat much there either, and she sits there for 20 minutes. Things are now worse. I can smell her very badly, almost to the point where I try not to breathe in too close to her because it's not good. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. I've tried so long to give hints to get her to shower more, like, hey, do you want to take a shower together? Winky face. But she can't take the hint and says, why would we do that? There's only room for one under the water anyway. Look, if there's room for one, there's room for two. All right, just saying. One evening, she wanted to lie down on the floor and stare at a world map she has. She invited me to lie down next to her and just talk about where we want to go, etc. I lasted for about 1 minute before I had to make up some dumb excuse as to why I had to get up. She's then upset and says something along the lines of, why are you leaving? You never do stuff with me. The truth is I just can't be close to her for long. Wow, this is she's a bit of a hippie, I get you. Yeah, bit of a hippie. I'm not even sure I started to resent her because it was only this one thing that was bugging me in a relationship. But maybe I did, and that's my fault for being bad at communicating to her. This right here, that's the problem. That's the problem. Anyway, I couldn't hold it any longer. Of course you can't. Look, peeps, if you've got a problem with your partner, and take it from me, look, anybody's advice on relationships is simply their personal experience. Okay, so when I do give advice, please just take it as my personal experience. It may be worth something, it may not be. Things are very subjective. I think that you know, it's sort of advice is like it's just like nostalgia. It's just the events you've had in your life sort of just brought up and sort of what you would have done instead in that thing that you got into problems with, or what has worked for you in the past. It's kind of a form of nostalgia. It's a form of, hey, this worked for me in the past. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And since I don't know the situation you're in, please take my advice as just, hey, this worked in my life. But whenever you don't tell your partner about something, whoever that is, and just keep it suppressed, it doesn't work. It's unsustainable. Really, we're looking for sustainable actions, like sustainable things. Sort of keeping something to yourself, even something that's, you know, mildly annoying, it's gonna come up, and way worse than if you just talked about it in a mature way, kind of thing. That's what I've found. I think that, you know, even if it's just something small, even just articulating it, like just sort of saying, but there's sort of a way you can do it that isn't it isn't blaming them for it, right? So what you want to do to stop people from being defensive, and what I've learned about what makes people defensive is generally accusations. Like, for instance, in this scenario, if you come into it like, look, you smell really bad and that puts me off, kind of thing. You don't take a shower and that makes me feel like you don't care if you smell bad. You know, that kind of thing. It makes me do this. Or when you do this, it makes me angry. So a better way to go about it is sort of taking a neutral way. So sort of saying, you know, when somebody hasn't showered, they do smell. It seems to be what you're doing, and when that happens, I feel, and fill in the blank. You know, it's a slight change in framing. Okay, instead of saying you do this and it makes me, you're saying when this event occurs, I feel like this. Instead of blaming them for your mood, you're kind of going, hey, I just feel like this when it happened. And it's a very, very small thing, but it matters when you're actually communicating with people. Because when you sort of use that, oh, you make me mad, for instance, instead of when this happens, I get mad. It's a completely different statement. It's sort of this non-blaming, hey, this occurs and I don't like it, and it may be my fault. So that will at least open the doors to talking about stuff. And then you can sort of frame it as, you know, what you would prefer. You know, I would prefer if you took more showers, and then I could spend more time with you because I really want to be around you. It's just that I don't like the smell of, and that's a hard conversation. Don't get me wrong, it is not easy to broach something like this. Like, it is so hard to broach something like this, but you know, he's got to do it. You can't have a sustainable relationship if you can't be around someone because they smell. And the weirdest thing is that some people smell fine to others. Okay, some people smell fine to others, no problem at all. And then that person smells absolutely rank to another person. It's very, very strange. Olfactory senses are odd. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Anyway, I couldn't hold it any longer. I tried one last time to ask if she wanted to take a shower to me to show that I did want to do stuff with her, but she declined. Yeah, I mean, you've got the problem there. Maybe she thinks that all you're interested in is the physical relationship kind of thing. Maybe that's what she's thinking. Sort of assuaging that would be a good idea. Then I said, I know you say you don't sweat, but I can smell. I don't like the smell of sweat, and it being popular in the gym we go to, I would just appreciate it if you showered a bit more. Ugh. Yeah, you could probably have worded that better, but not too bad. I mean, it's not like saying, hey, you're disgusting or something. Yeah, I don't know. She freaked out. World War III started. Well, no reason for that. She accused me of things and asked if I found her disgusting. Okay, so what that does is speak to self-esteem stuff. It really does. And it's really sad. I really feel for her. No, of course you're not disgusting. We just smell. We're smelly apes. It almost felt like she wanted me to think she's disgusting for some messed up reason. Yeah, like this was an easy way to create distance between us, have less sex and all that. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Yes, you are. This is called mind reading. You don't know that. It's just, to me, it feels awfully obvious to shower, if not daily, at least every other day. I would agree, yes. She said she doesn't want to shower her hair often, but you can still shower your body. Have you ever heard of this thing called a shower cap? It's called a shower cap. You put it over your hair. I don't have that problem. Like, I hate to break it to you, I don't have a problem with my hair getting wet because I don't have any hair, which is just awesome. But Lynn uses a shower cap. You know, it just stops your hair getting wet. Very, very technological device. Our relationship is borderline over because I hurt her. So am I the asshole? What I could have done differently? irrelevant, but is it normal that women shower less than men? I was always the assumption it was the opposite. No, I mean, you should shower about the same. I mean, hygiene is more than just about smell. It's actually about how much sort of how much in germs and stuff you've got on you. So soap's amazing. Like, you don't have to do much. That's the thing. Just use some fucking soap. Like, seriously. So the amazing thing about soap is that it kills both bacteria and viruses. Are you aware of that? It kills bacteria and viruses. Apparently, the fatty substance in it, it basically completely breaks apart the virus's barrier, will completely destroy it. And the oily part, or it might be the other way around. I was watching a thing on it on YouTube, like the oily part breaks down the bacteria, basically. So it has like these two different functions that just happen to destroy both bacteria and acids. Fungus, you're shit out of luck probably, but you know, nothing's perfect. But yeah, it just soap. That's it. You don't have to go nuts. You don't have to have body wash. I don't think that's necessary. You don't have to do your hair. Just some soap on the body. It's fine. Like, seriously, it's all good. You know, and it's interesting because a lot of women that I've spoken to say they like a guy that just smells clean, right? That doesn't smell. So do we have a double standard here? Do we have a standard where if the guy is smelling because he doesn't shower, then he's really, really horrible? And is it a thing of, you know, the woman doesn't have to shower, and if she smells, you're not allowed to find it horrible? You know, like, yeah. Under the assumption it was opposite. No, I don't think so. I think women sort of, you know, wash as much as men do. I think, you know, it really depends on your lifestyle and stuff. I just, the poor guy, I don't think he deserves it, though. My initial reaction is not the arsehole, to be honest with you. I mean, you can't ignore something like that in a relationship and sort of going, oh, well, you know, you find me smelly, therefore you're not attracted. That's not, no, come on now. That's not a thing. Like, you really can't. I don't know. It's strange. It's very strange. There were, you know, at a time in my life, I did not shower a lot, but in my defense, I was at the beach a lot. So, you know, that's one option you have if you do live on the coast. Be a beach person, and you probably won't have to shower a whole lot. I mean, I still did, but yeah, it's not just about sweat. But yeah, okay. No wonder one be near her. I shower every other day and feel dirty if I don't. I have dry skin. Otherwise, I shower daily. My skin gets hurt if it's too dry. Okay. You know what? I've got pretty oily skin. How are people out there? Hello. How are you doing? Rios. Rios? Boot the door and shout through the crack. Right. Damn right. Okay. You know what? I've got very oily skin. I'm lucky. I've got very, very oily skin, or it's very pliable. It's very soft. So I'm not 100% sure. You know, I hear people talk about, like, you know, using moisturizer and stuff. I've never had to. I have, just because it's supposedly good for your skin, but I don't have to because I've got very, very oily skin. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes it's good. It's one of those things. Yeah. I can't even imagine a reaction if I brought up things like vaginal discharge. Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. That is not something I really want to talk about. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if she has some sort of phobia or OCD about the shower if she's showering so infrequently. Yeah, that's true. That's true. She may very well have some kind of thing. Isn't there hydrophobia as a fear of water? Is there a fear of showers? Look, I'm at the moment, for some reason, I get into these real rabbit holes of phobias and what phobias are what kind of thing. The latest one I found out about was phantasmophobia, which is a fear of like spirits and ghosts and demons and things, and I thought that was awesome. It's me, Bob. Nexus. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I do know a couple of Bobs, so I might be getting confused. It's probably my fault. Fear of showers. Is there a fear of showers? A blutophobia. There you go. A blutophobia is an anxiety that can cause intense fear, panic, or distress when washing or bathing. Yeah, and this is what we're talking about with irrational beliefs kind of thing. They may also be afraid of seeing things that remind them of bathing like soap and or a washcloth. So if you didn't know, your dog probably has a blutophobia. And your cat certainly has a blutophobia. So this is a real thing. And the thing is not to shame people with this stuff like this. Like, some people just have irrational fears. I mean, I used to have an irrational fear of needles. Don't know where it came from. I'm pretty good now. You know, like I know that, you know, I don't like looking at the needle entering my skin. And the weird thing is, here's the weird thing, and here's how I know it was an irrational fear. It's because, you know, I could easily see people getting stabbed or shot. You know, you watch movies. I didn't have a problem with the blood, didn't have a problem with anything. Just the needle entering the skin, and just a needle. And I don't know why. Is this trauma from when I was a baby? Is this some kind of thing that happened to me through something that I expect? I don't know, but it definitely was an irrational fear. And people do have this, and we have tools so that they can overcome it. Right, we can teach people to overcome it. Is it possible she has some kind of Asperger's or autism? Possible, yeah. Either that, or she's happily, dirtily smelly, and you two are incompatible in terms of personal hygiene. Yeah, and that sucks, but that could be a thing. It could be a thing. So at that point, you have to make a decision. Do you have a boundary where it comes to this, or is this something that you can compromise on? If it's not, if that's your boundary, well, that's your boundary. You know, like, trying to make it work and suppress that irritation is not going to work in a relationship. It's just not. Like, you're going to be resentful. I have a strong suspicion she has bipolar disorder, I presume, hence me mentioning her being very sensitive in the post, but not sure about Asperger's or autism. I'm not that familiar with bipolar disorder. I presume it's that sort of manic and depressive highs and lows kind of thing. No, that's borderline personality disorder is what that is, borderline. Yeah, borderline's a bit weird. I mean, that would explain why she goes off. I'm not that familiar with borderline as well. But yeah, okay. Interesting. Oh, damn it. I didn't do the poll. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know why. I'm just all over the place today. I'm just all over the place. Just accept it. Just forgive me, because I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's see. I will get my act together one of these days. You know it's true. You know it has to happen, because I think the world needs more Reed. I think it needs more Reed. I think so. There's probably a million things I could do, but you know, I'm doing my best. How does that sound? I'll do my best. You do the same, and we can both accept each other's best. How about that? Was the poster right for what? Drawing attention to girlfriend's smell. There we go. Left on read? I don't get it. Left unread. I get where you're going. That's pretty clever. I like it. Where we're up to. Wow, okay, holy post, Batman. Not the arsehole. She is responding very defensively. Yeah, it's obviously a sensitive subject. Maybe he could have done it better, but it wasn't too bad. Like, he didn't address it too bad. He didn't say, hey, this sucks. You know, like, you cannot go the rest of the time you know her avoiding being close to her. You need to be honest. Yeah, 100%. You tried to be gentle. You dropped hints, but she has block in her head about the subject. And when you tried to tell her, she couldn't hear it. I wouldn't take back what you said. You could try sending her something like, listen, the thing is, I love you so much that I've been terrified of hurting your feelings. You know how you feel, and that is my priority. I was making adjustments to try and manage things so I did not have to say anything, but it simply didn't work. Your perception is that you don't sweat much, and therefore there is no odor. That is not the case. Yeah, the amount of sweat that you sweat doesn't make, or, you know, it isn't like, just because you don't sweat a lot doesn't mean that you don't smell. That doesn't follow. I wish it was, but especially adding in the sauna. This has nothing to do with how I feel about you, how much I love spending time with you, how much I love when I make you laugh. I swear it makes me feel whole. Well, I mean, don't... Look, let the guy add his own stuff to this. This is about biology. We cannot smell ourselves, just like we can't tickle ourselves. That is true. And that's an odd one, right? We can't tickle ourselves. Like, we cannot tickle ourselves. It's not possible. It's wild. I'm not going to make you do anything, but I think things would be better if you showered more often, or we find out a solution if that's doable to you. There are sponge baths and all kinds of things. I love you and want to be with you. Let me. I am neurodivergent. Yeah, right on. And showering is hard for me. I'm neurodivergent, and showering is fine for me. I don't have a problem with it, but I am sort of in the high functioning kind of section. So I think bathing is a problem for me. I really dislike it. And I guess sometimes I don't like showering. You know what? If I get sunburnt on my bald ass head, then I don't like showering because it hurts. Like, seriously, I dislike it. Getting sunburnt on my bald ass head is a problem. I got to get more hats, I think. It's the transition of getting wet and then having to get dry. I hate it so much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do get that. I mean, I don't feel that. You know what? I think that showering is just a habit for me. It's like really a habit. I've got a thing that I do, and I always do it. I do a baby white bath in the morning, afternoon, night on the days I don't shower, so that the odor-causing bacteria cannot form. Yeah, and that's basically what it is. It's bacteria that is forming that odor. It helps a lot, but if I've had a sweaty day, I got to shower. Yeah, fair enough. Summers usually mean daily showers, but you can't ignore your hygiene regardless of the reason. If she needs help, you can offer support. This at least keeps her dignity and allows for conversation going forward. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like this person. Yes to all of this. And it is a health issue, not just a hygiene issue. We want to make sure we are clean, because there are all kinds of nasty stuff out there. Why can't I wrap that up? I'm not even sure I started to resent her. Bro, I don't even know your girlfriend already. I'm resenting her. Well, thanks, Reddit. Thanks. Not the arsehole, time to be blunt about how this is affecting you. Yeah. Just random comment and going, I resent her. Yeah. Okay, settle down, Reddit. Settle down. No, I don't resent her. I just think that he's perfectly within his rights. What have the people in my chat got to say about this? Let's see. Oh yeah, there's where I was up to. Yep. Jason making the suggestive comment as per usual. Andrew, 10,000 milliseconds. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. James says, I had a predisposition to sweat heavily too. I've developed an OCD thing about it as a result. Personal hygiene freak now. Yeah, I know where you're coming from, James. I really, if I miss a day of having a shower, and I do occasionally, I don't feel right. So I do like to have my routine. Yep, left-hand Jedi. If you can smell them before you hear them, it's time for a shower. Yes, absolutely. And that wouldn't fly in like the military and stuff. I remember this old bloke when I was a lot younger. He was telling me that the American soldiers that he knew during the Vietnam War, you could smell them from the smell of weed. like before you even saw them, there was just this smell of weed, and you would know that it was American soldiers, which probably didn't do them any favors creeping around the jungle. But he said that they wouldn't walk with the American soldiers back because, you know, they were an ambush waiting to happen, I think is how he put it. Really, really cool guy. But, you know, he was not happy about, you know, people smelling in the military. You know, the military guys, they rub dirt on themselves and stuff if they're starting to smell. They really cannot have that because they cannot be detected. Throw some sage in that sauna, Jay. We're trying to get rid of odor, not exercise it for demons, mate. Like, come on now. We're not trying to get spirits out of the sauna, or maybe we are. I don't know. Maybe according to the Christian fundamentalists, you know, bad odor is caused by demons and familiar spirits. Maybe we do need to do that. You could have a point there, mate. Left-handed Joe said some folks on the spectrum are sensitive, maybe talk them into a bath instead of a shower. You know what? I'm on the spectrum and I dislike baths. I really do. I dislike them immensely. I don't know why. I just don't like them. She may be a hippie. Yeah, that sounds like a sort of really bad stand-up, you know. If you don't take a shower for 4 days and we can smell you before we see you, you might be a hippie. I mean, if you're not into hippies, you might just want to find someone else. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I did know a couple of hippies that would like, I mean, they would still bathe kind of thing. And one guy wore lavender oil and stuff to hide it. So, you know, he was fine. You know, not great, but not bad either, I guess. He would be the a-hole of intentions are to change her personality. Well, that's true. But is that a core belief? You know, is that something she believes in? Or is it just her with an irrational belief? The irrational belief being, hey, I don't smell, when she does. Okay, so I think it's fine if you know, you're basically saying, hey, I'm a water usage protester, or I feel like that showers are the capitalist exploitation of the people, something like that, right? I totally get that. But if it's like, well, I believe I don't smell and she does, well, that's a whole nother story. That's, you know, I don't think that's changing your personality and more just stating the bloody obvious, to be honest. You know, but yeah, if she's adamant that she can't change and you have a boundary that you can't put up with the smell, then yeah, it's not going to work. Absolutely. But I don't think that's the case. You smell like onions that have been sweating in the sun for hours. Oh yeah, yeah. You smell like Gandhi's flip-flop. You know, like, come on. You can make up a ton of things like that. No one likes hippies. Oh, come on. I like hippies. You know what? I like hippies. I wouldn't want to live their lifestyle, but I don't mind hippies. Come on, Jay. Peace and love. Peace and love, Jay. What's wrong with peace and love? Wow, Jay, you've had 5 comments about hippies. What the hell? Show me where the hippie touched you on the doll. Seriously. That's why I use a natural way to trick Corsa into say, let's go for a swim. Yeah, that can work. I mean, it depends if she likes swimming, depends if there's pools or lakes or ocean near you. I'm not sure that's the case. I don't know what it'd be like to live inland. I've always lived on the coast, so I don't know what it would be like. Hippies, why did it have to be hippies? Blame them. Blame them all, Taylor. Wow, Jay. Finding out a lot about you, mate. Oi, you're stinky. See? Yeah, Amber, I get you. How to broach a sensitive topic. Oi, dickhead. Darth Ollie? Okay. No, that will always be a left-handed Jedi. Always. Stop. It's not going to work. And plus, you have to be weak of will for Jedi mind tricks to work. It only works on the weak of will. And from what I've seen of left-handed Jedi, they're bloody obstinate. Weak of will is not a description I would apply to that person. So, you know, soap is a concrete concept. It's not abstractor. Use it. Yeah, no, soap is not a social construct here. It's actually a thing. Yeah. Smells like foot, but it's from ass. I'm not sure what that's in relation to, but I used this spray-on fireproofing insulation that once smelled like that. Okay. Yeah. There's some weird stuff. I've smelt some weird stuff in the building industry as well. It's very, very weird. Being told you need a shower is rough, but at the same time, if I was a smellster, I would want to know. I'd also want the person saying it to say it in a kind and understanding way, maybe. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. If I am, I would like to know, but, sort of making me feel like crap isn't the way to go about changing my behavior. It's not the way about changing anyone's behavior. It really doesn't. His girlfriend has an issue with showers, bath. It could be the source of triggers. It is for me. I know I'll be dissociated and triggered on edge every single time, so I really have to prepare myself prior to getting in there. So it could be something like that. Yeah, it could be. And also, if someone just says basically you're repulsive to me, that will only turn things bad. Empathetic, mutually caring conversation. I absolutely agree. Chick is disgusting. If she smells like swamp, she's disgusting. Come on, Jay. Come on. I mean, guys don't smell that lovely after not showering either, buddy. I'm sure she would be fine if she just showered every day. Like, seriously, that would just fix the problem. They're just boyfriend, girlfriend, right? There's other fish. Yeah, definitely girlfriend. So it's not, I mean, it's not too bad, but, I mean, if she's a great person and makes him feel happy, if your biggest problem is in a relationship is like how much you shower, that's a very easily solvable problem, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. That can be fixed. Stuff like having radically different goals. Sometimes that will never work. But this is not even that big an issue, to be honest with you. I know it can like make him resentful and stuff, and so you have to work out your issues. But this isn't a big issue. Like, seriously. I used to use Old Spice to repel people. Yeah. No, I get you. I don't think I've smelt Old Spice in years, Jason. Like, it used to be like during the 90s and 80s and stuff. It used to be the shit, but I haven't even smelt it now. It's just a non-thing. Coconut. Oh, really? But what? Oh, okay. Coconut oils and a few drops of oregano oil. Okay, there you go. Aromatherapy with Jay Pasick. I'm joking. It's not. I know it's not aromatherapy. It's just using remedies. Green tea is a pretty good cleaner. Works great on smelly pits. There you go. At a certain point, it becomes a health issue. Absolutely, sure does. Yeah. As I said, it's there to wipe off the bacteria and the viruses from you. It's not the sweat that smells; it's the bacteria on skin causing bell. Absolutely. Yep, rude mud crab. That is 100% right. No, hydrophobia is not just rabies. Come on now. It occurs with like people with rabies, but it's not only rabies. I mean, there's a few different types. You've got the acylophobia, which is like the fear of deep waters. I've never had that one ever. I hate moisturizers and body lotions. I feel dirty again. I know what you mean, Beck. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that some do that for me, but some are totally fine. It just depends how I feel afterwards. If I feel like oily, I don't like it. If I feel sort of squeaky clean, then I do like it. Get yourself a loofah. It's not the shower that gets you, it's the evil clown. Come on now. Come on. Can we not make her ablutionophobia worse? Seriously? A lot of repeated assault victims will lower their hygiene practices, become less appealing as a victim. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's definitely something to talk about if you do have a boyfriend. Absolutely. Because that may not be the case. Yeah, I'm voting Arsenal with the guy can just move on. Come on now, Jason. She could be eco-mind. Could be. You're a rapid shifting bipolar. It sucks. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Jedi. Is there any upsides to it? Is there any is there anything that you see differently because of that? Is there anything that is a benefit of that? Do you think, there's anything you get from it, or is it just all down? And I get if it is like that sucks. And I'm sorry to hear that. I'd be like, hey, rotten crotch, go watch your, wow. Yeah, yeah. And you probably wouldn't have a relationship, but that's entirely your choice. You can tickle your own foot. I don't know about that. If you're talking about with something, yeah, okay, I will pay that. If you're talking about with your fingers, I don't think you can really tickle yourself because it's you. You're touching yourself. You know you're touching yourself. You tickle yourself on a regular basis. Okay, Jason, masturbation is not what we're talking about, mate. I'm so damn fat. And we're not talking about mentally or emotionally, Jedi. Come on. Come on. I can tickle myself, not as well as somebody else. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I can't tickle myself. There's no place that I feel tickled. Then again, people can't tickle me anyway. I'm not ticklish. So yeah. Yeah. We've got a lot of votes for hats, all for fancy hats, more hats. There's just all the hats. As a former fundy, yes, all bad smells come from demons. Do not fart in a fund. That is nasty. I don't know. I think it's a good place because then it echoes and no one knows where it comes from. Like seriously, it's got that plausible deniability. Just blame the altar boys. I'm sure that's what everybody does. Certain foods can make body odor much worse. If I was him, I'd just take over the shopping and cooking duties, eliminate those foods, and hope for the best before I told you. Well, yeah, but that's something you can discuss, like what you're eating and what kind of foods actually produce body odor. Compromise. Give her for breeds. Isn't that for like furniture? Oh, big bad mama, thank you. I had a short sort of talk about it before. If you wondered why I did it, I think it was to know that I can. I think I did it so that I could reassure myself I could step into the ring with someone like that and hold my own, which I absolutely did. So yeah, but it was crazy. Wait till you get older, Jay. Got to wash damn ball. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm fully on board. Like, you've got to take care of your junk, gentlemen. Gentlemen, listen up. Take care of your junk. Wash it with soap, at least soap, please. Take care of that shit. Okay. Don't be shy. You got to get in there. Take care of it. Look, you love your junk. Take care of your junk. Don't be a silly sausage. Okay. Seriously. Oh, hey, Joe. Oh, Joe's here as well. Yeah, well, yeah. What did you walk into? Oh, look, it's AIMBOT. It can be anything. It can be anything, mate. I should be afraid of deep water, but I'm not, and I've gone a little too far out in the ocean a couple of times. Okay, so I think my deepest ocean swim was probably we wanted to go over to this ocean in a place called Jurien Bay, which is north of the city that I live in. So there was an island that this guy knew about that people took their boats to, and it was about 5 kilometers offshore. But being in Surf Lifesavers, we're like, sure, 5-kilometer swim, no worries, right? Easy done. It's only 10 kilometers, like out there and back, and we can rest in between at the island. So no worries. So we start from the mouth of the river and we swim over to this island. And look, if you have grown up swimming in a beach and you've been trained in survival strokes, that is breaststroke, survival side stroke, and survival backstroke, right? There's 3 survival strokes. The best one of all is survival side stroke. If you want to go an insane distance, learn survival side stroke. It is insane how long you can swim for because it is so efficient on energy. It's incredible. So we swim over there 5 kilometers, rock up on the beach, and there's all these rich people with boats going, what the hell? Where did you guys come from? And we're like, we swum. And they're like, you're insane. And we're like, eh. And so like we spent the day at this island just chilling out, having fun, then swum back. It was a little rough coming back, but it was fine. Just swum back. And yeah, it was only later we found out there were a ton of sharks in that area. It was kind of shark-infested water, but we didn't see any, so it was fine. But yeah, fun, hey? Real fun. But yeah, I mean, like if you want to swim a long distance, survival side stroke is the tits. It's so good. So good. Absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, West Atlantic diving under boat at night with sharks, wet willy time. You know what? Unless you splash around and stuff, like you make it like you're wounded, usually they don't even friggin' bother. That's the thing. The times when sharks have attacked people is when they've been surfing or splashing in the water, you know, making like you're wounded. Basically, they will hone in on you. And you know, surfboards are something that create a lot of wake. They make it look like you're creating a lot of, you're wounded dolphin usually. But you know, I don't think they really want to attack humans. In fact, I kind of know that they don't go for humans. They're just mistaken on what we are. They think we're a seal or something. They usually don't. You've got more chance of being struck by lightning, to be honest with you. And yes, I have been insane enough to swim in a thunderstorm as well. And I'm still here, so, you know, must have done something right somewhere. Okay, let's see how the poll went. How's my poll going? Yeah, take care of your poll, gentlemen. Take care of your poll, definitely. Poster was totally sucky. Really? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Salties and box jellyfish? Why would you do that? Yeah, no, look, saltwater crocodiles are only like up very, very far north. So, like, yeah, I have never swum anywhere there would be a saltwater crocodile, and I don't know why you would do that, quite frankly. I don't know why this guy's an a-hole. I completely disagree with you all. I think he's fine. I think he's fine. I think the poster's fine. Okay, next up. From Character Quality 5429. Would I be... This is the rarely seen predictive moral judgment request, right? Like he's predicting it. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't share the inheritance that I received from a friend with her daughter? If you don't share the well, where did the person want it going? Where did the person want it going? That's what I want to know. I mean, inheritance is generally, I don't know how it works in other countries, but generally, if there's no will, it goes to your children first off, and there is sort of rules around who it goes to, but their children would be included. If there is a will and they have left their child out of the will, then no, because they didn't want their stuff to go to the child. It may be for a very good reason. I think you have to respect people's wishes at the end of their life. I think you've got to respect whatever they put down. I think that not doing so is highly immoral. But if there's no will, then yes, yeah, absolutely, because they absolutely should get a share of the inheritance. Nice. What a jerk that man is. Not you, Deviant, you're lovely, but what a jerk Jimbo Bibbs, so seriously. I mean, wow. I wonder if he's ever debated anybody and anybody has ever come away saying, yeah, I disagree with him, but you know, he's a good guy. I bet that has never happened in his life. You know, I bet it's always like, yeah, he's a complete jerk. You know, he really is like Darth Dawkins. And I mean, why would you be like Darth Dawkins? So this one, not necessarily, maybe, I guess, is my first initial. I, female, 32, recently came into inheritance when my neighbor and close friend Valerie, female, 68, died. I'm sorry for your loss. I met Valerie when I moved into my condo in 2018. She became my next door neighbor. Our places are on the top floor and have almost connecting balconies. Oh, that's nice. We used to spend every Saturday morning outside taking care of our plant babies and chatting. Oh, that's so sweet. like plant babies. I'm not good with plants. I would absolutely be charged with neglect if plants were babies. I learned that Valerie had been a widow since she was 55. I got the impression that she had married young and never had a chance to learn who she was until after he had died. Yeah, and that's sad. And that's the case in a lot of things, especially the way the church does. They're like, well, you live for your husband. Your entire existence is about what he's doing. It's wrong. You should have an identity in who you are, and that should complement your partner, not be founded in it. It shouldn't be the foundation of your identity. It should be the complement to your partner's identity. So, yeah, I always thought that Valerie was alone in the world. Turns out Valerie had one child, a daughter, Sam, female, 44. However, they had been estranged since the early 2000s. The story that Valerie told me was that Sam had come out as gay when she was just out of high school. What? That's the reason? All right, Valerie is a dick. That did not sit well with Gary. Who's Gary? Is that her husband? He told Sam that she was no longer his daughter and kicked her out, telling her never to contact them or come home again. Oh, that's really sad. Really? Just because your daughter's gay? It's oh, I don't have a daughter. Yeah, you do, and she's gay. Get over it. Holy crap. The whole situation broke Valerie's heart, and it was the biggest regret in her life. She told me that she had always wished she had tried to fight for Sam, but in the moment she was so shocked that she watched the whole thing happen without saying a word. And these kind of people, here's the thing, these kind of people are the people that say, oh, the family is the most important thing in the world. Yeah, until someone's gay, and then you don't give a crap about the family, do you? You'll just boot them out. Yeah, nice double standard you have there. When I first heard the story about Valerie told me she hadn't, when I had first heard the story about Valerie told me that she hadn't because she didn't know how to even try. What the hell? So I did some internet sleuthing and found Sam on Facebook. It turns out that Sam had managed to build a good life for herself. I helped Valerie draft a heartfelt message to Sam. Valerie apologized for everything and told Sam how much her perspective has changed over the years. Valerie also asked if they could try and build a new relationship. We sent the message and saw that Sam had seen and maybe read the message, but Sam never responded. Assuming you did get the right Sam. About a month ago, I got home from work to find Valerie had passed away on her balcony. She'd suffered an embolism. I sent the link to her obituary and memorial page to Sam. I didn't see Sam at the funeral. There was a lawyer handling all of Valerie's affairs. I thought I would simply grieve the loss of my friend and eventually have a new neighbor. I never expected me to be the only person who Valerie left in her will, let alone to be being left everything. A few days ago, Sam messaged me. She was upset and demanded I give her Valerie's things, claiming that I took advantage of an old widow. I was upset when I first read Sam's message and thought, who does she think she is? She hasn't spoken to Valerie in literal decades and never responded when Valerie tried to reach out. Now Valerie is her mother, and that entitles her to Valerie's stuff. Now, I wonder if I should do something for Sam. I go back and forth if Valerie would want me to. Valerie knew where Sam was, so she could have included Sam somehow. The lawyer I talked to said the inheritance is completely mine and that Sam has no claim, but should I give Sam something? Wow, that's a difficult one. That's a really difficult one. I don't know. That's odd. How would I think about this? I think I would say that, yeah, you have to respect the person's wishes, right? You have to respect her wishes. If she left that's in, she wanted everything to go to Valerie. No, if Valerie wanted everything to go to the poster, then that's her wishes. I don't think she has to give her anything. And, I guess you feel guilty that she wanted to make a relationship with Sam. I suppose if you think, like, all that we can say is it reasonable to think that she wanted something to go to Sam, to even just remember her or do something for her? Maybe. I mean, I think if I was in that situation, I would say, hey, I'll give you some things to remember her by, but her will is her will, and we've got nothing else to tell us what she wanted to do. I don't know if it was a case of she didn't update her will. It happens occasionally. It's really weird. I think you would have to think about what she would want. But is there a reason? I mean, obviously she wanted to make a relationship with her daughter, but her daughter didn't even contact her to make that relationship. And can you be, I don't know, is this the right Sam? That's the other thing I'm wondering. If she doesn't get back to her, like, you know, is it the right Sam? Me personally, I would probably at least split some stuff off so she has something to remember her, because she is her daughter, but that's just me. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think this is one where you would have to be there. Like, you would absolutely have to be there. You would have to know Valerie to know what she would want, essentially. Let me get my big ass poll out. 1 second. And I will ask you, lovely people. Now, if the poster is I don't know if people were confused about who the poster was last time. The poster is the person writing it, okay? I'm not, maybe you guys are just trolling me. Maybe like the last one, you really did think what you wrote. Maybe you're trolling me. Maybe you're confused. The poster is the one doing the post, okay? Was poster, would poster be right? So this is in the future. Would poster be right for not sharing inheritance? Okay, so when we say poster was, just think that poster would be, and poster was this, and everyone was. Just put it as would be, because I'm not updating it to like fit this Futurama stuff. What has Reddit got to say? Let's go to Reddit. There's always 3 sides to every story. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what happened between the two of them, not really, so I'd be very careful of vilifying anyone. I had a friend who was kicked out whose mum cut contact before they came out as gay. Their mum acted like their child was the one who abandoned and mistreated them, always played the victim to anyone who listened. It was not always so simply when family doesn't come around. Yeah. I don't think you need to give up any cash, but I would offer her pictures and mementos in the house that she may like. Not everything, mind you, but a few things that might remind her of her mom, or pictures that she'd like, if there are any, not the other. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. Don't you insult me, big bad mama. I'll start calling you Jim Bob. Then what will you do? I'll start calling you Jim Bob too. Jim Bob too. Yeah, I that's basically what I said. Yeah, give her some mementos and things. Gotcha. Not the arsehole. I found myself in a similar situation years ago. My then partner of 12 years took us. Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry, toll support. You need some toll support. That sucks. Unbeknownst to me, I was made his beneficiary to a small insurance settlement. I immediately reached out to his family to get his info on his 2 minor daughters. Was going to give them both some money for college. Without knowing why I was contacting his family, the mother and sisters, they were horrible to me, called me every name in the book. They actually had a memorial service for him and forgot to tell me. Oh, damn. Never mind that I was supported this man and his daughters financially for years. After they hung up on me for the 90th time, I'd had enough. I kept any penny and I still don't feel bad. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. This is a soft, not the arsehole from me. Yeah. To be clear, Valerie is a bad parent. Even by her own accounting, what she did to Sam was terrible and wrong. Yeah. If you're kicking your child out of the house to live on the street or try and find accommodation in the system because they are gay, you are a terrible person. Let's make that abundantly clear. Like, you are not going to like the things that your kids do, but sort of giving them, you know, risking them being in poverty and not getting supported or cared for or dying on the street because you don't like their lifestyle. Like, seriously, that's a big fuck you from me. Like, seriously, people like that don't deserve to have children, in my opinion. I mean, they don't have children because they disown them, but that is terrible. Absolutely terrible. If you like, it's so weird to me that they're like, oh, but if you didn't like the consequences of getting pregnant, then you shouldn't have had sex. They'll say all that shit all the time, right? But then when you say, hey, if you didn't accept the possibility that your child could be gay or trans or something else, then don't have kids. And they're like, I should be allowed to have kids. I'm a white Christian. Get out of here. It's terrible. You're a neglectful person. She allowed her husband to cut off their child off for being gay, or at least she didn't fight it, and remained estranged from Sam for many decades afterwards. While the husband may be the main villain, Valerie is far from blameless. Also, who knows what Sam's side of the story looks like? The truth could be even less favorable than how Valerie told it. Reaching out to Sam with an apology was a nice thing to try, but let's be real, Sam had every reason to rebuff her. A good person who felt truly sorry for what they did to Sam would probably have left the fortune or all of the estate to her. Yeah, I'm not so sure that's true. You are legally and ethically entitled to this inheritance since you had a relationship with Valerie and it was her express wish to be given her things on her passing. I can't call you an arsehole for that. If it was me, though, I'd probably try and use some of Valerie's legacy to make things right with Sam. That doesn't have to mean giving her everything, but it would certainly extend to giving her any family personal effects that he wants. Yeah, absolutely. Things like money or property without sentimental value, I think it's fair to factor in things, how much Sam or you need it. Is there a grandchild and might have college expenses, all that kind of thing. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Sam has every right to get. Oh, is that the same one? In my opinion, Valerie was a bad person. Well, yes, but okay. So here's the thing, right? I don't think there are bad people. There's just bad actions. And yes, you can have a person whose actions are predominantly bad. And so we can say, hey, that's a bad person. But, I think that Valerie did an awful thing. I think she's realized it was an awful thing and trying to make amends for it. Like, I can't ask more than that. Yeah, she did something that was absolutely horrendous. Later in her life, she realized how horrendous it was and was trying to make amends. Okay. Like, I've got to accept people aren't perfect. They're going to screw up. They're going to make mistakes. And, the problem may be more about, so obviously the only people that are kicking gay kids out of the home are religious people. So what you've got to understand is her whole identity was tied to the husband being the head of the household. He made the decisions. And this is what we get from these fundamentalist households. So it broke her heart. But, if they were in a fundamentalist household, which it does sound like, because they're the ones that kick gay people out for being gay, could she stand up to the father? She's been conditioned not to. So yeah, it was a bad thing to do, and she's a bad person then for doing it. I get you. I hear you. Absolutely. But we've got to say, hey, how much was she a victim of this paradigm as well? How much did she get conditioned to not stand up for herself, for her children at all? Because you're not supposed to. I'm Sam's age, and I can sort of understand that Valerie was surprised by her kids coming out and her husband being hateful. Yeah. What I don't get is that she let the initial surprise carry over into 2 decades of estrangement. She just stood and watched, and then what? Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. The conditioning is horrendous, and it takes people a lot of work to break that conditioning. Like, how long ago did the guy die? Widow since she was 55. So yeah, no, that's a good point. It's been 13 years. Can it take somebody 13 years to deconstruct and realize that their husband isn't the one who decides what they get to do? Sometimes, unfortunately. People that have been in the church for that long, deconstruction can take that long. If you're unaware of what deconstruction is where you go back and go, what do I actually know and what do I believe? And is that belief justified or just something I've had drilled into me by society, by religion, by by the things that tell me this is so. Deconstruction is really important because it makes us realize that some things are very, very useful and socially necessary, and some things are not. And they're just things that you think are true and set in stone that absolutely are not. What I don't get, yeah, 2 days. Yeah, no, I get you. She stood there and watched and then watched. She never reached out the next morning and let her 20-year-old daughter be homeless. Yes, she did. And in the quarter of a century, never thought to Google or see how many family friends knew where Sam was or contact Sam's friends. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't like people who are like 68 aren't too great with the Google. I'm not sure if you know that. They're better with Bing, but Bing is useless. So, you know, yeah. Even after a big of a husband died, Valerie was just a bad person, just like Gary. Yeah, I don't think there are good or bad people. You decide how close you want to follow your wishes and enrich yourself by hurting Sam once again as the final and lasting impression her mother left her. Wow, okay. Yeah, no, I don't think her final impression should be her mother hurting her again. Oof, okay. What have the mob in chat got to say? Yes, you are now a mob. Sorry, everybody. You're now counted as the Mark Reed mob. I do have a superpower. Thank you. Backfloating is my go-to if I end up too far out. Yes, never panic. You panic, you struggle. Struggling creates sort of aerates the water. You will sink faster. If you're panicking, just float. You can float. Just spread your arms and legs out, suck in some oxygen, and float on your chest. That's basically it. I get you, Jason. Yeah. I think I can. Yeah, you said you're leaning towards pastor as an AI. Okay. No, I get what you mean. If somebody has a daughter, you know, I mean, I totally get it. This one is so nuanced, right? Like, if you don't share anything with them, I think maybe yes. I think maybe yes, because it is her daughter and she wanted to reconcile with her daughter, and you knew that. So maybe yes. By her inaction, Valerie was complicit in kicking her daughter to the curb. Absolutely. No, I am certainly not excusing her actions. Absolutely deplorable actions. Like, don't get me wrong. I am not in any way sort of saying it's okay. I'm just sort of saying that people make mistakes in their lives, and it's better for somebody to have realized they've been a complete asshole and try to make amends than never realizing it at all. I mean, if you know, now you're leaning back towards the middle, okay, you're riding the line. Jason's riding the line. When it's my time, I want to have an embolism on my balcony. You know what? There's worse ways to go, Big Bad Mama. There's worse ways to go. Like, seriously. Jason said, just had a dark thought. What if the poster helped Valerie draft more than that apology letter? Okay, yeah. I too like the way you think, but if that's what they did, they wouldn't be going on Reddit and posting it. You know, like, I think they just would have quietly took the money and not really, you know. And yeah, Big Bad Mama, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Like, give them some things and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Rude Mudcrab as well. I'd give some keepsakes in memory. Yeah, absolutely. Jason says something doesn't add up. If repairing the relationship between Val and the daughter was ever important, why would she not share the inheritance? Well, it's difficult because you don't know how Valerie thought about you don't know how she thought about her daughter not getting back to her, whether she did feel like they'd reconciled or whether she still felt estranged. And the problem is that with inheritance and wills, we're not there to decide whether their choice was right or wrong. That's the problem, Jason. We're not going to say, hey, you doing this was totally wrong. You were in the wrong. If they wanted it that way, that's how they wanted it. So that's why I'm framing it more as what would Valerie have wanted rather than what we thought Valerie did was wrong or right by our standard, right? Because it's like where somebody gives their inheritance, the moral thing to do is to honor it, right? That's why we have wills, because that is what we ought to do. Because if we don't, then it causes all kinds of problems with people going, oh no, she would have wanted this, she would have wanted that. That's why court cases come up over, no will inheritances, because people argue about what they would have wanted. So I think sort of from a moral and ethical standpoint, we have to say, well, we have to honor what they wanted, not, what they wanted was wrong. But yeah, I get what you mean. That would suggest you'd at least want her to have something, I would imagine. I think it's a good argument to make. The poster is the one doing the post. Big Bad Mama, I love you. Got to go with my gut here. Poster is sus with for even asking. Look, Jason, do you think everybody's sus? You are probably the biggest user of the sus emoji. Okay, let's have a sus in the chat just for Jason. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Few susses in the chat. There you go, buddy. just some susses. I don't know if you're currently a member or not, if you have access to them. And I do want to do member-only streams as well. So I do want to reward people. You can be a member. Did you know that? Our memberships are available if you hit the, I think it's a join button. I don't know what it is. It's some button somewhere. You know what it is, right? I'm so bad at this plugging myself. I got to get better at it. I've been saying that for a year now. It hasn't happened. The Big Bad Mama says, cutting off your daughter is more than an awful thing. It's a major damage to another person, in this case, her daughter. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So is that a argument for sharing their inheritance with her as sort of like a compensation for the horrible thing that happened? Because I could see that as an argument as well. I do think that has validity to it. Jason says, poster helped track down the daughter and draft an apology. The daughter apparently never replied, and now poster is sole heir and being stingy. Okay. Gibbs taking advantage of old lady vibes. Well, that's what they were accused of, sure. But, I think at the end of the day, if Valerie, if she wanted to change where her money and estate went, she should have updated her will. I think at the end of the day, yeah. But maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't assume so. I don't think so personally. Maybe I'm just more optimistic than you, Jason. Maybe you've been watching too much true crime as well. Yeah, I totally think you have. Worse than Jim Bob? I don't know about that one, Big Bad Mama. I don't know. Rude Mudcrab says, the more I think about it, if Val was genuinely trying to make amends, I don't think she would have left Sam out of the will. I'd consider the will needing an amendment and give Sam 50%. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If you think that's what she wanted, I think that's reasonable. I think it all comes down to what Valerie wanted. And like I said, without that perspective, it's very hard to say, good, dang, I can't change my vote. Well, okay. Great news. I got my kids home. Oh, and I did deconstructed jewelry in art school. Oh, cool. I don't know what that is. Hey, post a picture on the Discord. I've got an art channel in there. People do post there occasionally, and I always enjoy when they do. Andrew's been posting there, and he does amazing art. I wish I had something for him to... Oh, yeah, Andrew, draw a kangaroo. Go on. I dare you. I double dare you, mate. If you are still with us, draw a kangaroo. Because I made up that term, and I want to know what it looks like. Think the poster had a hand in writing the will? We don't know that, Jason. It could have been done by a lawyer for all we know. I just flame on. Jason, flame on. Deviant says 8. Okay. I got to get warmed up for this, Deviant. 8. No, totally. If you've got that much to say, I'm happy to relay it. It would be fully understandable if the daughter doesn't want to contact or accept an apology years after the fact. What was done to the daughter was an absolute betrayal by two people in all the world whose sole obligation is to love and care for the child they brought into the world. Absolutely. However, that doesn't mean she wouldn't want some memorabilia, even though she wasn't ready for a heartfelt reunion at the time it was offered. That probably doesn't mean she doesn't love and wanted to love from the love from her mother. On the contrary, that, I bet, was probably the issue. She felt betrayed by those she loved and who should have been shown love from. Poster is legally in the right to take the inheritance, but morally, she ought to at least make contact and make sure she has the right daughter. Yes, and offer it to her. Yeah, that's fair. That could have been the mother's wish, but when daughter didn't answer a call for reconciliation, she instead went with the poster. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because I grossly miscalculated how many parts my conduct. Trolled me. Okay. I warmed up for that and everything, Deviant. You got me. I admit it. Also, I missed 4 out of 8, 5 out of 8. So 4 out of 8, I miscalculated 6, 7, 8/8. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to agree because I don't know how to pass that. I don't know if that's true. 3. Yeah. No, you missed a 4 and then named 5, 4. So really it should have been 3, 4, 5 and then 6, 7, 8 because you miscalculated. Rude Mudcrab says, as a parent, if she felt guilty, knew the divide was her fault, leaving Sam out of the world just seems spiteful, to be honest. Maybe, yeah. This one's so hard. Like, I think that at least sharing some of it, yes, I kind of agree. It would seem a little petty if she's got things that were, cherished to Valerie, but she doesn't want to give it to her daughter, even if she can't use it or doesn't need it. I don't know. I don't know. Valerie did not leave me shit. Damn, blame Valerie for Fox not being a member as well. Thanks, Fox. Yeah, let's just blame Valerie. Sure. Just to clarify, Jason Japuga, was the actual 4 out of 8 or the mislabeled 4 out of 8, or was the Okay, this is getting too meta. This is getting way too meta. A kangaroo. Yes. My best friend back in the day, she nicknamed me Andiru. Andiawoo. Andiawu? Is that supposed to be the dire part? Like a dire bear? Like a dire wolf? Came out better when she said it. I'm probably not typing the right pronunciation, but yeah, here working on some art. Oh, that's cool. Well, don't go crazy for me. Just at some point that you asked me for suggestions. That would be my. I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, what would that even look like? Like a kangaroo. Cold Quest. Yes, you have no morals. Don't ever make a moral claim. Oh, we don't have morals. That's strange. We're sitting here talking about morality and how we ought to behave, which is morality. Hey, morally bankrupt. Well, it's strange because most of the people that go to prison per capita are theists. How does that work? Why are atheists better socially adjusted than Christians? Why is that? You don't believe in good, do you? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I believe it in virtue of human well-being. So that's how I can tell if something's good. It's good for people and it's good for society. It's how I can tell something's bad, because it's bad for people and bad for society. That's what makes me secular humanist. Because humans. Ta-da! I already just said that. You're not listening. You're not listening, Cold Quest. You're just not listening at all. Like, if you're not going to listen, I don't see the point of speaking to you, quite frankly. I just said it. I just said it. Like, seriously. Okay, I'll do one more because my voice is a bit raspy now. Can potatoes listen? Can potatoes listen? That's a very good point. No, really, can plants sense vibrations? Some can. Does it mean they're listening? I don't know. You are the arbiter of what is good. No, I am not. That's like saying that I'm the arbiter of, like, if I think it's good for human well-being to not chop people's heads off, right? How is that me being the arbiter? Is it me that decides that's good for humans? Human well-being? No, of course not. That's just that. So who is? Reality is. Okay, the better question that you want to ask is what causes me to care about human well-being, right? Nothing does. The way I feel, it is simply a result of me having empathy for other humans. Okay, that's it. That's it. If I have empathy for other humans, I care about human well-being because empathy makes me feel the same way they do. It's called mirror neurons. Basically, what happens in your brain is that when people have feelings and express them, your mirror neurons will cause you to feel the same thing. So human well-being is important to me, not only because my well-being is important to me and that's tied to all the other humans, but also it makes me feel good when humans are doing well, when they are well, when they're healthy, when they're happy, makes me feel good. So it may be based upon that empathy and reciprocity. Okay, and I'm not going to have an entire moral discussion about my moral frameworks, hey, but just understand that I have chosen human well-being to be the thing that I care about, and I don't decide what's good for humans and bad for humans. You know, there are some gray areas, sure, but there always is gray areas in morality. It is simply what is good for humans and what is bad for humans. That's all. That's all. That's how I work. So if you can show me that something is bad for humans, then great. I'll stop doing that. Unfortunately, religion is bad for humans. And I can point to, I don't know, all the theists in prison that have broken the laws and done awful things. Why is that? Because they think a God's going to forgive them. Because the problem is that when you have a God as your moral guide, right? If you have a God, all that needs to happen is you believe the God wants you to do something. It doesn't even need to be true. All you've got to do is believe that God wants you to do something and you'll do it, no matter how horrible it is, no matter how repugnant it is, then you'll do it because you think that the God is telling you what to do. There's nothing off the limits for somebody that believes in a God. All they have to do, this is why we get theists who burn their families alive, saying, hey, God told me to do it because they were possessed by demons. That's all you need to be reprehensible and a moral monster, is thinking that your imaginary friend is telling you what's right and wrong. It's all you need. Me, I am the moral guide. I don't need anything else. Okay, from Admirable Degree. Am I the a-hole because I get up 5 minutes after my fiance and I have a meal? I'm wondering how that would make you morally bankrupt. I'm wondering how that would make you morally bankrupt. I don't understand. Get up 5 minutes after, like, so you sleep in and I have is she cooking it for you? Because if that's the case, then maybe, but I don't think otherwise. Is this a problem? I don't know. This is weird. I don't know about this one. Oh, how'd the poll turn out, by the way? Post was morally good. Okay, that's good. That's good. No worries at all. Okay. I, 23 female, and my fiance, 25 male, have been living together for almost 2 years. In the month or so, my fiance has adopted the habit of attempting to clean his teeth after eating by making this sucking noise constantly. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, no, I could. Okay. So that's annoying. Yeah. Attempting to clean his teeth by making this sucking noise. It is such a disgusting noise. I cannot stand listening to it. Okay. That's your fiance. So presumably you're planning to have some sort of sustainable relationship with your fiance, right? Like presumably. So this kind of thing is unsustainable. If that is really yeah, so Cold Quest, that's the kind of thing that gets you a bit of a timeout, mate. Timeout. Okay, if you're not going to be polite and you're going to be a douche, then you're going to go on the douche corner. Douche corner. There you go. Okay, so that's a 5-minute timeout. If you keep being a D-bag, you're going to get thrown off the channel. And I'm not even going to apologize. Like, seriously, you will have deserved it. Don't go into people's chat and be a douchebag. Like, why would you do that? Sounds weird. Why are you being weird? Like, seriously. So whack, man. Like, seriously, why? I don't understand it. For context, growing up, I grew up with a grandfather that ate with his mouth open and a grandmother who had issues with her throat. Oh, and just for your information, your good is different. Yeah, I'm not looking to make good all the same thing. All I need is moral compatibility. All I need is an overarching, like, we're not, secular humanists aren't like religion. We're not saying, hey, you have to do every single little thing in your life according to what I say and only what I say. That's not what it's about. It's basically saying, can we agree on a framework that allows us to live in relative peace and well-being and discuss what it is that makes society better and makes people better? That's it. That's it. I don't require you to go to a church or pray or do or this or do that. You know, I'm not putting that on you. Doesn't matter. You can believe what you want. You can do what you want. As long as you're not harming other people, you're fine. It's when you do start harming other people that's the problem. And going into people's chat and being a D-bag to them, yeah, that's harming other people. So we're not doing that. Enjoy. Okay. Yeah, no, look, there's some noises which really, really bug me, like people chewing over the phone or, you know, on mic chewing. If it's muted, no problem, you know, have at it. Not the best. I mean, Jim Bob was sitting there shoving pizza into his mouth during the debate. It's like, okay, you want to be a pig? Sure. I mean, whatever. But, you know, the chewing sound is absolutely horrific and, you know, nobody likes it. At least he muted himself. That, at least I can say that. But, you know, there's not a lot that really disturbs me. That probably would. It's like there's some sounds that really do disturb us, like nails down a chalkboard. Babies crying disturbs us, and there's a good reason for that. It's basically to motivate you to take care of the baby. It's biologically programmed, or it's a instinctual thing to react to a baby crying, to find out what it is or irritate you. It's biologically programmed, and it's a very good reason for it. It's so you will go and comfort the child or see what's wrong to take care of the child. It's one of those things. But yeah, if that's annoying you, you've got to say something. For context, growing up, oh, I get you. You get up for 5 minutes after my fiance and I have a meal. Look, can you not tell him you're organizing your life because you don't like the way that he makes noise after a meal? And that's fair enough. Like, I get that, especially people on the autism spectrum will have problem with certain sounds. That is a fact. Some of them do. I do. Sure. What is the term for not being to stand chewing? There's a term for it, and I can't remember what it is. Misophonia, right? Like some common sounds drive you up the wall. Misophonia. Yeah, it's actually it actually has a name. Like, this isn't like, oh, well, this is just you. This actually has a name. Misophonia. Like lip smacking, people chewing, you know, clicking. There's you know, it can annoy people. For context, I grew up with a grandfather that ate with his mouth open. Oh, that's nasty. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't eat with your mouth open. That's absolutely gross. And my grandmother who had issues with her throat. Because of this, most of my life I was subject to listening to some pretty gross noises while they ate. Well, you know, here's the thing. You can tell your fiance, not Reddit. I don't know if you know this. As an adult, I don't want to be subject to the same experience if I don't have to. I've brought it to my fiance's attention several times. Every time he acknowledges it and says he'll try to stop, he just feels like there's something in his teeth. I have suggested floss, yes, toothpicks, those portable toothbrushes. Nothing has worked and he still continues to do it. Oh, that sounds like a hard habit to break. As I mentioned, I broke a couple of really bad habits. One of them was biting my nails. Absolutely, terrible habit to have. I smoke cigarettes, and that's a hard habit. That one's rough. Okay, I never take up smoking or even vaping. It's not worth it. It's a hard habit to break. It's a terrible habit. You are not mitigating stress by doing it. All you're doing is creating stress when you don't have that habit. It's really important to understand that. I don't really see why I have to force myself to listen to him doing that. So after we eat, I made a point to get up and go sit in a different area of the house for 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it sounds like she is really trying. I get that habits are hard to break, but she is really trying to get around this. We got into an argument about it, and he's calling me an arsehole because I shouldn't be getting upset about something he can't help. That's nope. Wrong attitude. You can't look. If you have that boundary, you have that boundary. That is it. It's not up to you to tell somebody where their boundary should be. Like I said, I've already told him several times I'm not going to subject myself to listening to him do that. If he's going to make a more conscious effort not to do it, then I'm going to remove myself from situations where I listen to him do that. Right on, girl. Absolutely. This woman is maintaining her boundaries. It's very important. If she just says, well, I'll just put up with it, she will resent him. She will resent him, and they were going to have real problems because you can't, like, if you have that boundary, you can't just smother it and pretend to go on with it being no big deal. You can't do that. It's going to come up, and it's going to come up in a way that's probably explosive. I'm not even trying to make him feel bad or give him this ultimatum, but I don't understand why I need to force myself to listen to him to do something that generally makes my skin crawl just to make him feel better. No, you don't. That's a boundary you don't have to put up with. And look, here's the thing. You are not required to explain why you have the boundaries that you do. Now, if you're in a relationship or you are doing something with someone, or even if you want them to understand where you're coming from, you may do that, but it is not a requirement. You do not have to explain your feelings to people. It is good for communication for you to do so, but you are by no means compelled to. If that is a boundary, that is a boundary, and you don't have to make excuses as to why it is. Look, that's a boundary for her. That's it. Now, the healthy way to deal with this is to come to compromises like she has, toothpicks and these other things, and even sitting in the other room. That is her changing, because you don't have control over what somebody else does. She cannot control what he does, right? There is no way she can force him to do anything, and he can't force her to do anything. That's not the way we approach it. We only have control over what she does. Now, her going to another room, that is her taking control to enforce her boundaries, which is perfectly acceptable and a healthy thing to do. I think he's being an absolute jerk. He's basically going, well, I don't see why you're worried by that, so you shouldn't be. No, that is not how things work, my guy. That is not how things work. I'm not even trying to make him feel bad or give him this ultimatum. No, you're not giving him an ultimatum. An ultimatum is you stop doing it or else I will do this. That is an ultimatum. What you've done is said, look, I have this boundary. We can do this. We can compromise. We can come to an agreement. But you don't have to, like, if you enforce your boundary, you are not making an ultimatum. Okay, that's not an ultimatum. That is simply you enforcing your boundary. An ultimatum is going to him and saying, if you do not stop doing this, I am gonna XYZ. Right? What you're saying is, hey, there is a boundary and I have to take actions to enforce that boundary. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing, but maybe you're saying the ultimatum is implied, but it's not an ultimatum, because an ultimatum is choose between one of these things. Yeah. I don't understand why I need to force myself to listen to him. Yeah, no, you don't. It's also important to note, it's not like he does this just after big meals. He does this multiple times a day after eating pretty much anything. Am I the asshole? No, you're not. No, I don't think so. No. And in my opinion, no. That is what I would say. It is much healthier to it's much healthier to enforce your boundaries than to put up with something that you cannot stand, because one way will get you to, like, you've always got to compromise in relationships. You've always got to say, hey, I don't like this thing, so I'm not going to be around when you're doing it, or I'm not going to this concert because I don't like that band. I'm not going to play this video game because I don't like. There's always compromise, and you shouldn't expect your partner to love everything you do. Okay, when we talk about codependent relationships, it's this idea that people base their identity around the other person, that they have to love the same thing and they have to do the same thing and everything has to be the same, and it's not healthy. There's things that you may like that your partner doesn't. There's things that they might like that you don't, and that's okay. That's okay. But, if it's something like this, I think compromise is amazing. I think she's doing all of the compromising here, and I don't see much from him. I really don't. And I don't see why you can just not be in the same room while you're doing that. So was the poster right for leaving the room after meals to avoid boyfriend? Okay. So again, the poster is the one that made the post. Not sure if you people are confused. I'm a little confused at how you vote, but hey, that's okay. That's okay. But if you do vote differently, I want to hear it. I want to hear why. Like, what makes it right and what makes it wrong. But definitely, I like it. So, hey, props to both of them. At least they're talking about it. It's not an ultimatum. If you say you cannot tolerate something as a boundary, like you can't tolerate some behavior, and then you remove yourself from the situation because you can't tolerate that behavior, that is not an ultimatum. Okay? That is not an ultimatum. An ultimatum is manipulating somebody by saying to them, you either stop doing this or I'm gonna and do the thing that is imparting some sort of punishment on you. But she's not doing it to punish him, right? She's not saying, hey, if you either stop doing this or I'm not going to pick you up from work anymore, right? Like, that is an ultimatum. Okay, all she's doing is enforcing her boundaries by removing herself from the situation. And you are free to keep doing what you're doing, but you can't change what she does to enforce that boundary. It's really important to understand here. It's not an ultimatum. Because yes, we should avoid ultimatums. That's not one of them, Chief. So that is a healthy way to go about things. She's tried to compromise. She's tried to compromise again. She's put across multiple ways to compromise on this thing. He hasn't suggested anything. She has removed herself from something that violates her boundaries. That is a healthy thing to do, rather than, blowing up at him or calling him names or doing any of this stuff. She has removed herself from that which crosses her boundaries. Fair enough. Not morally bankrupt. Absolutely not. Let's see what the Redditors have to say. NTA, you're upholding a boundary properly. Yes. That you will not tolerate gross eating noise at the table. Yeah, and you don't have to try to give that boundary any kind of, you don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. That's just a boundary of yours, which means you aren't forcing him or giving him ultimatums, but removing yourself from the room when the behavior occurs. Yes. This guy's on board. My name is Zem. Your name should be Zen. That's what your name should be. It's a healthy way to respond to something that bothers you if the person is unwilling to change their behavior. Well, it may not even be that they're unwilling. It may be that it's just a habit, right? It's just a habit that he keeps going through. Maybe he got angry because he's angry at himself, that he can't change his habitual behavior. You can work on that. I'm sure she would be understanding. I'm sure she would help you. Transitioning to something like a toothpick for that behavior may be a really good way to stop it. So, let's not go, hey, they're unwilling to change their behavior. They may be frustrated because they're unable to change their behavior, which is a different kettle of fish entirely. But getting angry at your fiance for not being able to change your own behavior because you have this habit that you can't seem to shake, that isn't helpful or healthy either, right? Like, that's not your fiance's fault. Like, seriously, why are you getting angry at her? It doesn't sound like your fiance is willing to compromise on this habit. Why is that? Probably because he's frustrated because it's a habit. He might be convinced he cannot break that habit. That's the thing about habits. A lot of the time we think we can't stop doing them. They're unbreakable. We tell ourselves that, oh, I can't seem to do this. I can't seem to stop smoking. I can't seem to stop biting my nails. I can't seem to stop sucking while I chew. No, you can. You can. You're just telling yourself you can't, but you can. Are there any other situations where he refuses to compromise? That's a good question. That's a really good question. When people do something with their mouth, they're generally aware of it. Yeah, sometimes. Look, there was also, like, I used to watch a YouTuber and they started humming and I had to stop watching them. I cannot stand YouTubers humming, during their streams. I don't know why. It just annoys me a lot. I don't like it, okay? I don't know what it is. I just, I feel like I want to listen, and if I'm listening, I want to have meaning coming across, and that humming has no meaning. It might be part of my ASD, but I just find it annoying because they're not imparting any meaning on me, and I don't want to listen anymore. So just be aware of that. If you have me as your subscriber, don't hum. Okay, I won't watch or listen rather. Do you believe he is physically unable to stop this habit that he has very recently picked up? Is it very recent? Is it recently picked up? In the last month or so? Yeah, that's a okay. So that doesn't seem like a long-term habit. Or was it, and he just wasn't doing it? And now that they're living together, they're living together 2 years. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, good point. Maybe he's being just a dick. I don't know. Do you recognize that he is valuing this habit over your comfort and happiness at the table? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, habits are weird. You can get it into your head and start doing them. Habits can be really, really strange. And maybe it was a habit he had. Like, because you do have some habits, like nail biting, for instance. You think you overcome it and then you have a lot of stress and it happens again, kind of thing. So you have these behavioral things. It isn't as clean cut as, well, they've only done it recently, it mustn't have been a habit. It still can be. Sorry, still can be. But yeah, I like this guy's attitude, the boundary thing, definitely. I'm going to upvote you, sir, just because. NTA, but please think about this in less of he does this thing I don't like and he thinks it's rude, I don't sit here and listen to it, and more of a he has a habit that I can't stand, he hasn't made steps to change it, and now I'm berating myself for removing myself from the trigger. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that he hasn't made steps to change it, right? Like, has he, hasn't he? I don't know. I honestly don't know. You have a serious issue you need to work out before you tie yourself to this person legally? Absolutely. This a lot of people will just go, oh, no, this is fine. We'll get married and it won't be an issue. It will be an issue. If it's an issue now, it definitely will be an issue when you're married. Please believe me. The smallest things are the ones that will drive you crazy if you don't come to some kind of working compromise and arrangement and some way to, cope with those stuff. Even like if you cannot reasonably discuss and come to some kind of agreement and compromise on a sound that he's making, when finances are involved, when lifestyle is involved, when all of this other stuff is involved, if you have children and how they, like, if you can't settle this issue and don't have the tools, the tools meaning the strategies and the techniques to be able to sort this kind of, you are not going to be able to sort out the rest of marriage stuff when it comes to time allocation and, you know, work life management and finance and budgeting and things like don't get married if you can't work that stuff out, because it will be a problem. It's not about the sounds, though. That would drive me insane as well. Yeah. It's about asking him to find a way to change and calling you an asshole for it when he doesn't. Yeah. Also, for what it's worth, the tooth sucking is gross. Just go fucking floss, dude. Start throwing those little floss picks at him or something. I don't think that's helpful either, but yeah, I get you. I shouldn't be getting upset about something he can't help. Was that her saying that, or was that him saying that? He is calling me because I shouldn't be getting, no. Not the arsehole. We can choose not to. He just doesn't. Plenty of ways to deal with it, and you suggested most. Yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, can't blame you at all. This would drive me around the absolute frigging bend. You know what? And I mean, sometimes it's not even people's fault, right? I've worked in multiple call centers, and there was this one woman. The way she answered the phone drove me crazy, and it wasn't even her fault. It's just that when you do a lot of phone work, you will have a way that you answer the phone that will get into a rhythm, especially if you're answering it a lot and then transferring somewhere else kind of thing, if you're a receptionist or, you know, you have that background. And she was like, welcome to this, may I help you? And it drove me nuts. Like, I couldn't sit anywhere near her, because no fault of hers, because she's just got her inflection that it just drove me nuts. It made me crazy. I could not sit near her. It was so annoying to me. And that's not even saying she was doing something wrong. It was just annoying to me. And, you know, it wasn't her fault. That's just the way. Look, I had the way I answered the phone as well. Like, you know, so it's just something about it. It's something about the inflection, the uptick at the end. I don't know if she was like from New Zealand or something. It just, terrible. Maybe my accent triggers Jim Bob. Maybe that's why he hassles it. Maybe it's a trigger. Let's see what my little readers have to say. The mob. Every time I hear it makes me think the person claiming. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think so. But you know, it really depends. The moral system that they sort of get out of it is really dependent on their interpretation, and only that. It's why you get so many denominations of Christians, or, you know, different religions. It's because it's all on their interpretation of what a God wants. So unlike saying, hey, what is healthy and good for human well-being, what a God wants is so much more vague. Like, that could be literally anything. So yeah, it doesn't, you know, random Jim Bobbian. Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, I think they think their morality is a real thing that exists somewhere, deviant. I don't understand how they show that. I think that just the argument from moral diversity would just break it apart completely. You can't tell me I'm bad because you don't believe in God. Yeah, it sometimes feels like that, Jason. Sometimes I hum while I eat. Well, you know, I don't think I would like that. I don't know if I could be around it. I hope you understand. But I haven't heard you hum, so yeah. No, that's fair. I totally get it. Yeah, no, I think some habits you don't notice, especially if you're doing something else. Like if I'm studying or something, you know, I'll chew my nails. I know that means chewing. Okay, Majestic. I know that means chewing. Don't try and pull a fast one over on me. Big Bad Mama says, this guy's a jerk. He's not even making an effort not to be rude. That would annoy everyone. Yeah, Mama, I kind of agree. I kind of agree. She should stand up and fart in his face when he does. Wow. Wow. I don't know. I I mean, it's funny, sure, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Jason says, totally agree. If he isn't willing to work with her, she is well within her rights to leave the room. Yeah, I agree. Hello, Carlos. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think compromises are healthy unless they're a core part of identity. Yeah, well, I think that even if they're just a boundary that you can't, that you cannot, like you've got to maintain your boundaries or else they're going to drive you panic. Boundaries are based upon your core identity, though. They definitely are. I get what you mean, or your core values, or your, some kind of core belief or some core mental state that you have. They're based upon it. So yeah, in a way, you're right. But I think that even compromising, if it's not your core identity, if it's not who you are, and rather it's just something that you do not like being in your life, I think you can't compromise past there either. Like the compromise of her not being in the room when he does this stuff, I don't get why it's such a bad compromise. Like she's happy, he's happy. I don't, okay, she's not with him. Does he have to have her around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? If that's the case, then you've got bigger problems than chewing, my friend. Like seriously, that would be a problem. Smacking your food is my pet peeve. What do you mean by that? Smacking it, like giving it a good spanking, like a steak. You just spank it a bit. Smacking is that? I'm not sure what that is. I might have a different idea of what that is. Smacking your food. I got chicklophobia. Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. Is that a thing, or are you just trolling me? Look, I mean, some of these phobias, I would seriously think they're a troll, and then they're seriously a real thing. Chicklophobia is a rare phobia that involves a fear of chewing gum. Okay, just chewing gum, not chewing, just chewing gum. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. And Deviant was getting myself some late night, early morning yoga, but now I'm back, posted everything right, in my opinion. She addressed the issue, held to her boundaries without forcing her fiance into anything or shaming him. The fiance, his behavior is slightly more complex issue. Yeah, and I think that if he's embarrassed and maybe ashamed that he can't stop doing it, he may be lashing out at her. And people that are angry at themselves sometimes do this. It does happen. And it's important to understand that anger is always tied to fear, right? Like fear or sometimes pain. But that sort of frustration is usually tied to a fear of something. So the good question to ask, if we want to understand him, isn't what he's angry about. The real question is, what is he afraid of? Okay. And it may, we don't know. We've got to ask him that. He may be afraid that his fiance won't accept him for who he is. He may be afraid that he is having power taken away from him because he wants to do this and isn't allowed to. It may be very complex of multi-level fears that are going on. Maybe some insecurity, oh, what if she leaves me? There may be a lot of different fears that are going on here. So, but that's the question. It's not that he's afraid. It's not that he's angry. He's afraid. The question is of what? That's the question. Tori Swansiger says, if it's an issue now, even a small one, it'll be a massive one later. Yeah, 100% think that. 100% think that. Sounds like Office Space. What in Office Space? What in Office Space? I'm not sure which. I have seen Office Space. It's a great movie, especially. It's a really good movie. If ever you've worked in an office, like seriously, it sums up what it's like. Oh, you mean of the woman talking and the way she answered the phone? Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just it's because somebody will answer the phone the same way. Well, I do it too. I absolutely repeated the exact same way I answered the phone for years and years and years. I probably still do it, it's unreasonable to suggest that someone compromises on their accent. Well, I think so, yeah. I think if they're unintelligible, it may be, you may be saying, hey, I don't understand you. We might have to work on a translator or your accent or something. But, I think I was joking. Tori Swansiger says, I used to work in telemarketing and it was entirely too easy to become almost robotic in how I answered the phone on certain projects. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm right with you. Like, I think that after years of it, you become mechanical in the way that you do things. It's absolutely insane. Luke says, Jim Bob told me to go F myself after I called him Timu Jordan Peterson in the super chat. Oh, that's hilarious. Look, one of my favorite comments. I did a debate on Modern Day Debate, Luke, and one of my favorite comments, like my favorite, was somebody called me a wish Matt Delahunty, and I laughed my ass off for that for ages. I actually came back and put a comment after it saying, yeah, I bet that guy isn't even bald. And the guy just, the fucking emojis that he sent was amazing. I thought that was brilliant. It was great. It was great. It's one of my favorite comments. I think I've got it saved somewhere on my hard disk. It was so good. I had to laugh, right? Like, some insults you just got to laugh at, right? Like, that's hilarious that I'm a wish, what was it? An Aussie wish Matt Delahunt. I just laughed. That was a good one. Come on, you got to pay these things, right? Like, if you called me a Timu Matt Delahunty, I would laugh my ass off. If you called me a Timu Lex Luthor, I would still laugh. That's great. I love it. People, why take yourself so seriously? It's just a joke. Like, it's funny because all of these guys, like Jim Bob, they're like, oh, you guys can't take a joke and you can't joke about things and stuff like that. And yet, for just saying like something like that, he gets bent out of shape. Dude, come on. Like, we're basically, the things that we shouldn't joke about are, things that actually cause harm to people, that make them, feel horrible, and the bullying and torment that gay people and trans people and all these other people get, that racially abusing somebody and things like that. That's the stuff we shouldn't joke about. If you want to like joke about me being a Australian Timu Captain Picard, I'm gonna laugh. I'm sorry. That's genuinely funny. I mean, I've been compared to Picard. I've been compared to, who's the other guy? Professor X. Yeah, I'm an Australian wish Professor X. I think it's hilarious. Yeah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. We fear pain. Yeah, but I think that some of the more just enraged stuff is a response to pain. It just, that sort of, when we get in danger of our lives, or we experience pain on that level, it can be that really animalistic rage is a pain response. It really does make adrenaline flow, and that's sort of where shock comes from. It's the adrenaline flowing so much that we just don't feel it. Fear leads to mistrust, lies, and hates. Eventually, God. I don't think that that's the Jedi saying. I think it's fear leads to hate. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to destruction. I can't even remember the Jedi thing. I'm sorry, left-handed Jedi. Rescue me. Definitely my chronic pain causes a chronic low-key anger. Yeah, and that's totally understandable. Totally understandable. Absolutely. I hear you. It is anger's sort of a secondary reaction to something else. And it's that something else that we've got to address. And, I totally get that pain gives you that anger. It is the body's reaction, because it is that emotion that pumps adrenaline. It is that anger and that stress out that pumps adrenaline, and that is what allows you to get through pain. It's one of those things that it's a evolutionary byproduct that kind of sucks, right? Like, it's not a great thing that fear causes us to pump this adrenaline and get angry. It's a survival mechanism that sort of is now really sidelined into anger with no point. Like, there's no point in getting stressed out about your job. It's not like you're actually in a survival situation, but the brain doesn't know any better. So when you have fears about, oh, how am I going to pay my mortgage, you'll get frustrated and that stress will come up, and it sucks because it isn't a real fear that you're supposed to be pumping adrenaline from, like a saber-toothed tiger coming at you. It's a byproduct. So we've got to kind of reconcile this with how we're living now and find tools to be able to control this byproduct that we seem to have to live with. Kind of sucks. Evolution's kind of, it's an inconvenient truth. There's a lot of stuff that comes with it, a lot of baggage that comes with it that we do and we feel and we carry on like that. Kind of sucks that we wish wasn't true, but it is, and that's the way it is. The more we learn about it, the more we can sort of have these tools and these to sort of change the way we think to deal with it and accommodate for it, because I don't think it's going away. We are animals and will still be animals. That was a funny thing in the debate. Jim Bob says, oh, do you think animals have morality? It's like, yeah, we are animals. What are you talking about? But of course, he doesn't believe that. He thinks we're something special. I think we're very, very, very smart apes, because that's what we are. We are literally apes. Tilting. Oh, Tilting says hello. Sorry. You and me both. Yeah, absolutely. And it's totally understandable. I think my chronic pain just lowers my ability to cope with frustrations. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Stress, minor issues that should roll off my back, but don't. It just comes as uncontrolled minor anger. Yeah, no, I totally get that, Tilting. It's just that piling up effect of, that low-key hurt in the background causing your adrenaline to flow, and then as it flows, we have less control over the things that allow us to govern our behavior, because generally we don't want to socially fight, right? We want to be socially adaptable creatures generally. But when that anger comes up and you're in a survival situation, you want to override that. You want to have something that allows you to drop that control and, just go ham. That's how we're sort of put together. I hate using that term. I hate using wired as well, but that is the response that we're getting. So it is totally understandable. And, so what we do is we seek to have tools and mechanisms that can help with that, like sort of things like mindfulness. It kind of sucks when you're talking about pain, but it can help with, that kind of frustrations and stress and things. And, I'm not perfect. I get angry as well. I got angry during the debate yesterday, like just at the tail end or a couple of days ago. At the tail end, I was just frustrated, like just really frustrated. Jim Bob doesn't allow anybody else to talk. He just, if other people talk, it's bloviating or it's filibustering. He just doesn't want other people to talk. It's so crass and rude and just an obnoxious fuck, to be honest with you. So yeah, well, when you get me swearing, you are doing something really wrong, because usually I don't. But boy, by the end of it, wow. Yeah, but that's what you guys think. At Tilting, I hear you. I'm not. I totally understand. I don't think I would cope well either. I don't think anyone copes well with that kind of thing. It's why we do try to, just the last thing. Thank you so much, Pinworm. Thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. Let's see how our poll went. Where is my big ass poll? Give it to me. Poster was morally good. I do agree. I think that's an excellent way to address something that is rather frustrating. That's really rather frustrating. No, I totally understand, mate. I totally understand. If you think it was bad watching it, you should have been in it. It was horrible. But I did get through it. I think I made some really good points. I showed that Jim Bob doesn't understand the laws of logic, which is great, because the laws of logic are like the base thing you need to understand before talking about anything. The fact that he doesn't understand them is hilarious. It's just funny to me because he sort of props himself up as this genius of philosophy, and he doesn't understand the very, very basics. It's incredible. But I might wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a blast. My voice is going a bit, so I do apologize if I'm getting off a bit rough. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please do hit the like. Please do subscribe. Please share. And, if you want, join up to be a member and get all kinds of fantastic emojis. Was there anything else I was forgetting? Was anything else I was forgetting? Oh, I did want to check. Did I give away all of my gifting, by the way? Oh, jeez, I didn't. Oh, my God. All right, well, I'm going to have to give them away. What's the next thing? What's it? Okay, so Friday, I'm doing Fundamentalist Fails, and I will give away some then because, holy crap, I thought I'd given away my February ones, and I haven't. I usually do that early in the month. I must have just been distracted. So let's get the voice on. So we've got 5 readerships going out, and they are for Tilting Windmill, Nicole Swainson, Pitch Roll, Mr. Peabody, and Booba Sweat. Woo! Readership's going out. Congratulations, Tilting. I managed to hit you straight in the gob with a big old readership. Damn right. Well, I'll give away the other 5. I'll give away 5 free ones on Friday with Fundamentalist Fails, where we're looking at the failures of fundamentalism. And boy, is there some failures out there. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, yeah, we'll be going through that. Had a fantastic time. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Have a good day, night, afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Take care. Be kind to yourself. If you have a boundary, be kind to yourself. Maintain that boundary. If you're not maintaining your boundaries that really get to you, then you're not being kind to yourself. Be kind to others that deserve it. If someone's not being kind to you, fuck them. If they are, try to be kind to them as well. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, my pleasure, Tilting. It's always good to hit somebody in the chat. Usually I have Robin Webster for that. She's got this amazing aim that she managed to hit somebody in the chat every time when she takes, just hitting one person out of 5 is good enough for me. She's an assassin, just an assassin. But yeah, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
That control.